Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my 34 and 35 week pregnancy updates. Sorry for missing last week. We did have my baby shower last week, so there was just so much going on and I could not get a chance to film my update. So in this update, I'm just going to be combining the two and just making one big update. That being said, we are going to go ahead and go right into the video. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel down below if you have not already. Also, before you watch this video, I did post my nursery tour / baby name reveal. So if you have not watched that already, go on over and watch that first. Now, let's go ahead and get into the update. So according to the Bump app, last week at 34 weeks, she was the size of a butternut squash. And this week she is the size of a pineapple. Last week she was about 17.7 inches and 4.63 pounds. And this week she is 8.1 inches and about 5.7 pounds. I've always heard that at 34 weeks, the baby's lungs are pretty much mature enough to survive on the outside. The only thing that is changing from now until the baby is born is she's just packing on more weight. So let's go into symptoms. I'm gonna go ahead and start with 34 weeks. And I'm going to have to go back and reference my notes on this because that was last week and I forget. So at 34 weeks, I noticed that she was sleeping a lot more. And I still find this to be true. She does have her awake moments where she'll like reposition herself or have the hiccups or be like kicking around and playing in there. But for the most part, she just sleeps a lot. Which with the boys, if you are new here, we do have 3 boys, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. This is our first baby girl. But with the boys, I was always told that their movements would slow down the bigger they got because they'd be running out of room. And I could definitely feel that I would run out of room with them, but they did not slow down. And so this is the first time I'm experiencing a baby not being crazy active. So sometimes I find myself getting a little bit worried and I'll like pick on her a little bit to get her to move just to make myself feel better about the situation. But she is sleeping a lot more even still. Also at 34 weeks, I found it really difficult for me to get to sleep. I was just very uncomfortable and rolling from one side to the next started getting really difficult. At this point, I'm not even rolling over in bed. I'm staying on my left side just because it's just too difficult to roll over in bed. But that's when that started becoming a huge issue, is at 34 weeks. Once I've laid down for too long, I can't really move my legs, and I've realized that I use my legs a lot in doing everyday things, including rolling over in bed. And so that's just something that I can't do anymore. I also went through a spurt of not being able to sleep. There was like 3 or 4 nights that I couldn't fall asleep, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night around 3 o'clock in the morning and could not go back to sleep. I would be up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, and it just really affected my mood because I was not getting enough sleep. I am a 9-hour of sleep type of girl, so for me to only be getting like 6-7 hours of sleep, even 4 hours of sleep one night, it was really difficult. I think it was in my last pregnancy update that I did, I had gone to the doctor and she was head up, not so much completely straight up head up and feet down. She was more transverse, but her feet were towards my cervix and kicking my cervix. And then at 34 weeks, at one point she was sideways, but she was pretty low. And so she would kick off of one of my hip bones and then like bounce in between my hip bones, which was super uncomfortable. And it almost tickled a little bit. Like, it's like being tickled from the inside. It was the strangest feeling. It was so weird. As far as nausea goes, I did mention the past few updates that I have had my nausea start coming back. And in the 34th week, even now still, I'll still have some nausea, but it seemed like in the 34th week I would be okay for like 2 days, and then I'd have 2 days where I was super nauseous, and it would just go back and forth like that. Also, going back to her position, I did mention when I did have my last appointment that the doctor was pressing on my uterus and she could feel that my uterus was just super stretchy, and so she could pretty much get into any position that she wanted to. So we had a lot of changing positions in the 34th week. So at one point I wrote down that she was straight up and down, and I noticed that whenever she is straight up and down like that, like whenever she gets really high up here, it makes it so hard to breathe. It's almost like you're having an anxiety attack or something, or you just like can't catch your breath. You can't get a deep breath. So that was really annoying. Also, in the 34th week, I went ahead and made my hospital bag list. So that means her diaper bag for the hospital and just her diaper bag in general, and my hospital bag, and a list of my husband's stuff that he needs to get together for the hospital. Also, I've mentioned that I am one of the people that like to have their hospital bags packed and ready to go by 35 weeks. That's something that my doctor had recommended with Daniel, my oldest, and all of the pregnancies. I have had a bag packed by 35 weeks. I'm currently 35 weeks and 1 day. The bags are not packed, but I do have a list. Also, the last thing that I'm going to mention for 34 weeks, we did have my baby shower. I think I was 34 weeks and 2 days or 3 days. And my dad was here for the baby shower, and he put together the crib that him and his wife got us and the dresser that my mom and grandma got us for the baby shower. And both of those things just smelt, not necessarily bad, but they just smelt really strange. It wasn't a pleasant smell for me. So I had to have like a wax warmer in here. And again, if you haven't seen my nursery tour name reveal, go ahead and check that out so you can see her little room. It is so cute. But something about the way that the new furniture smelt, I didn't really like it. So definitely a heightened sense of smell. Also just around the house, like if I am smelling anything, because I have had pretty bad nasal congestion this whole pregnancy. So pretty much if I am smelling something, it's probably not a good scent. So that's fantastic. I love smelling all the bad smells. Now we're gonna move into 35 weeks. Again, I'm still having the heightened sense of smell. I'll come in here every single day and turn the wax warmer on. I'm just trying to get rid of the smell before she gets here, and we're spending a lot more time in here. Right now, the only time that I come in here is whenever I'm filming my videos, or if I just want to edit in here, then I'll do that. I do like being in this room. I just don't really like the smell. So I'll come in here, and most days I'll even open the window, but I'll for sure put on the wax warmer, just trying to get that smell out. I also wrote down in my notes that we did go ahead and get all of her clothes washed and put away. And the only thing left to do in the nursery is to get the new curtains and to hang the floating bookshelves. And I also want to put something on the wall like around her name, because the only thing that is behind the crib is just her name spelled out. So I want to put some more decorations there and over the dresser. But other than that, the room is completely ready to go. My pelvic pain did come back. I know it's been kind of like touch and go, but when the pelvic pain came back this last time, my lower back pain actually came back, which I haven't had to mess with or deal with since the beginning of my pregnancy. So I was really glad when it was gone, but it did come back. Since then, in the last like 2 days, I have been feeling a lot better. So that's great. I am also at the point in my pregnancy where I feel like I am just stretched to the max. I was doing dishes yesterday and my stomach kept rubbing up against the edge of the counter at the sink, and it like, for some reason, it got really sensitive to the touch, and it almost felt like I had like a splinter or a piece of glass. Like it was just a really sharp pain just on the top of my skin, just because my skin is just completely stretched out at this point. So it's really uncomfortable. I don't like it to be touched really unless I'm rubbing lotion on it. And I feel like, my husband doesn't agree, but I feel like I'm bigger with her in this pregnancy than I was with any of the boys. But thinking more into it, I also think that I might feel so big just because she does stay up higher a lot of the times and the boys stayed really low. So it didn't affect my breathing, and I was pretty much comfortable for the most part. I didn't have super bad heartburn, but with this one, she's up higher, so I have more heartburn. I can't eat like actual like meal sizes. I have to eat like lots of small meals throughout the day, and it does affect my breathing, so I'm just more uncomfortable. So maybe that's why I feel like I'm bigger with her. I don't know. I guess we will have to see how big she is when she comes out. Also, about a day or two ago, I guess it was like 2 days ago, she did flip and she was head up again. like I said, she's just changing positions a lot. Maybe it was 3 days ago. So it was like 2 or 3 days ago, she was head up again. Since then, I have found that I can pretty much get her to go at least transverse if I like lay down my head on the floor like this and then have my butt up in the air. That seems to help get her to come up, and then I can rotate my hips on an exercise ball, and that seems to help at least get her to where she's transverse. Right now I do feel like she is more head down and butt up, but I don't feel like she's engaged. I do feel like from time to time she will get her head down there and she'll start pushing down on my cervix, but I don't feel like she's like engaged enough to where she's gonna stay head down. Speaking of her being engaged and being head down, and that just makes me think about labor, and I will say that for the past 4 or 5 days consistently I will have contractions every single morning. They are not Braxton Hicks contractions. They are actual real painful contractions where I have to like stop what I'm doing and like breathe through it really, and I don't like anybody talking to me or touching me. I get super hot. I've actually had to turn the AC on a couple times just while they are going on. They are not consistent though. I think the closest they've come together is like maybe 15 minutes apart, and like I said, I'll have like 3 or 4 like an hour after I wake up, and then they'll go away in the afternoon. So they're not getting in closer together. They're not consistent. I don't feel like it's something that I need to urgently call my doctor about, just because I know that they will always ride on the like side of caution and be like, just go ahead and go in and get checked and make sure everything's okay. This is my 4th baby, so I pretty much know when it's time to go in. My water always breaks, and so to me that's like my telltale sign that, okay, yeah, we're having a baby. Not to say that I know for sure my water's gonna break this time, but I just know that it's not time to get freaked out about it. I'm not worried about it. I am going to mention it to my doctor on Monday whenever I see them again, and I don't know what they're going to do because I've never had such strong contractions so early, but I guess we will just have to wait and see what they say about it. Also, another thing that's been going on the past week is my hands are so swollen. Used to, they would just swell in the middle of the night and I'd have to wake up and like move them around because they would, I guess, swell so much that they go numb or they get tingly, and that's not really happening so much anymore, but they are always just so swollen. And along with that, I don't feel like my feet are that swollen, but I cannot wear my regular shoes anymore. Like I used to always wear my Converse or my Adidas, and no shoe is comfortable on my feet right now. I have been wearing my bare paw boots a lot like through the winter, but now it's like getting too hot for those. So I was ready for like regular tennis shoes where it's not like winter boots, but it's not quite flip-flops, and I just can't get comfortable in any of my shoes. I don't want to wear them. They just like squeeze too tight. I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody else, but so I went ahead and got some Adidas slides, and they are so comfortable. They have great arch support in them, so I've pretty much been wearing those nonstop, and I don't see myself wearing actual shoes for the remainder of this pregnancy. The last thing that I want to talk about is melasma, and I've never had this before. This is also called the mask of pregnancy. I've never had this issue before, and so whenever I first realized there was something going on, I just thought it was like red, like I was getting like hot or something, so because my cheeks were red, that's how it started. And then a few days after that, I was putting on my makeup and I realized that my foundation wasn't covering up the spots. And I do have freckles. I have a lot of freckles. So maybe that's why I didn't like realize it right off the bat. And this all started like 2 weeks ago. But I feel like the freckles is probably why I didn't realize it sooner. And this is actually why I'm not wearing makeup in this video, is because now I have brown patches right here, and it's really bad on my nose. The only thing that I can find to cover it is I have to go over it with my foundation, and that kind of gets rid of some of it. And then I have to go in with my heavy duty concealer, and that's how I can get it to cover. But it's super strange. I'll try to show you. Yeah, you can see it. It's like this. My nose is just brown, and that's not regular freckles for me. Like, I do have a lot of freckles, and I do have acne scarring down here, but that's not my normal, especially on my nose. It's really, really hard to cover on my nose, so that is super annoying. But if it was gonna happen, I'm glad that it happened so close to the end of my pregnancy. I know it gets really bad for some people, and at this point I'm just thankful that it's not too bad and that I can cover it if I need to. I just find it super odd. I've never had that before. Like I said, this is my 4th pregnancy and I'm so close to the end, so I just find that it's weird that I'm just now starting to get it. Also, cravings for the last 2 weeks consecutively has been raw carrots. I want raw carrots and ranch. That is my favorite thing right now. It is so good, and I can't complain because it's really healthy. So maybe not the ranch, but the carrots are, so I'm gonna call it healthy. But that is it symptom wise. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my 35-week belly. So here is my belly at 35 weeks and 1 day from the side. And from the front, again, I feel like she is just a lot higher than the boys, and I'm still a lot wider. And then here we are from the other side. And here we are with the shirt up, and the front, and the other side. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel down below if you have not already, and click the little bell right next to it so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Also, if you are pregnant, trying to conceive, or just had a baby, let me know down below in the comment section. The comment section is still disabled, but I'm going through and approving and replying to as many comments as I can, as fast as I can. So let me know down below. I can't wait to hear from you guys. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.